intergenerational talk show. My name is Syd Heller.
I'm Olivia De Laurentiis.
And welcome to class. We're your teachers, and today we're going to be talking about all things that have to do with identifying as a woman.
With women from different generations to see how things overlap, what's different.
And today we're talking about none other than that beautiful thing,
Shame.
And why you shouldn't have it.
Why you do have it, why you shouldn't, how you can stop, all of that.
So let's begin class. Hello, class.
Thank you guys so much for coming to class today.
Yeah, thank God that all three of you came.
Today we are going to be talking about something a lot of women or women identifying people are familiar with.
And a lot of people in general probably are too.
Yeah.
It's called
Shame.
Raise some hands, show of hands. Help.
Have you felt shame today? It's only like noon.
It's only noon and we've all felt shame.
Why is that? We are gonna get into that. So let's jump into our Socratic seminar. What's something you as a woman have felt like you need to be ashamed of or that you have been ashamed of even if that's not current?
Do you have one, Gianna?
My boobs.
Yeah.
Boobs too small.
Too
I got a
big.
big bra on right now, so they look bigger.
Too big, too small, they're always too something. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anybody else feel some shame that they want to get off their chest?
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh my God! My whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's brutal. It's
Yeah.
crazy because the human body is whatever it's gonna be.
Do you guys feel any shame surrounding sex?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
All of it.
What kind of shame do you feel surrounding sex?
Having it.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
having it.
Having it,
Yeah.
not having it?
Having it and not having
Yeah.
it.
It's like it's a lose-lose. Do you think that your generation places a particular type of shame
On a
around
particular
sex?
type of thing.
I'm from that generation where you were shamed for sticking up for yourself,
Yeah.
sticking up for another woman, and also you didn't say the S word. It wasn't even said.
What did you
Wow.
refer
What was it
to
called?
as?
You didn't refer to it as anything. You just kept your mouth shut. So
Wow.
I would
That's
hide
shame.
and read. You know, that's how I learned everything I learned about sex and sexual preferences and whatnot. Yeah, it was, you did not talk about that. My aunt who, she was around years and years and years ago.
Okay.
And she said, she was told, because again, you don't mention the S word, right? She was told that you never ever kiss a boy because that's how you got pregnant. And she said it wasn't until her fourth child that she realized that kissing was not the problem.
Oh.
Yeah.
My God.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
4 children
Yeah,
too
4
many
children.
to
Yeah,
not know
yeah, for
where
sure.
they're coming from.
Right.
Wow.
Really interesting.
And
Yeah.
that is why shame is dangerous.
Do you feel like your peers shamed you for sex?
I think it was more along the lines of when we did have sex collectively as women, it wasn't anything about our experience, but all about the guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if he wasn't calling you, it was because you did something wrong as
Yeah.
opposed to vice versa.
Yeah,
So
that's a really
I
good
think
point.
not speaking openly about your pleasure or
Yeah.
your, the fun time that you want to have, it wasn't focused on you at all. So
Yeah.
this is definitely something new and different, talking about it out loud.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you feel like Gen Z is more open sexually?
Definitely more open, but I don't know if it's like always good because
Fair.
like I think the misogyny and shame has switched to a different
different
same
disguise.
voice, different
Different hat.
font.
Yeah, same voice, different font.
But it's just like, because I feel like we were more open about sex, and like I have friends who call me and they're like, hey, is this chlamydia? And I like how I can have like that conversation with my friends and we're not like closed off about having sex. But then there's also the fact that I have a bunch of guy friends who like to cross that line, and it's hard to know when you're able to say like the line gets blurry.
You guys shamed about any bodily functions?
No.
No,
Not at all.
What was
At
it?
all.
Were you taught when you were younger, like, it's all fair game? You poop in public, you go.
My parents were from the South. You didn't talk about anything that had to do with your body or anything that might shame them.
Oh,
So if you
wow.
were doing something, and I grew up in New York City with them,
Yeah.
as most of
Ooh.
my friends did.
Okay.
And so I saw things very differently, and I
Yeah.
was always outspoken, and I'm like, yeah, oh my God, I got a fart. They're like, if you say that again, and I'm like, well, okay, I won't say it. I'll just let it out in front of everybody.
That's so funny. Yeah. It's interesting.
Smell and don't tell.
That's what they say.
I hated that. When I said it, I hated it. I didn't want it. Ugh. What's a bodily function you've grown to hate?
Well, recently I was telling the girls I did a couple rounds of IVF, and when you do that, you have an insert for a hormone tablet, and that has a discharge. So just having that on a daily basis is, period every day.
You're just trying to have a child.
Just trying to make it work,
Oh my God. And you have to have that constant thing of like,
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, yeah, cool.
what bodily function you hate?
I identify as a hot girl with IBS.
Oh, I love that for you. I love that for you.
So yeah, I get a lot of bodily functions with that.
Yeah.
And girls don't poop. They just don't.
I've heard that for the first
Yeah.
time recently. I've heard that like only like 2 years ago was the first time I heard
Really?
that.
I remember hearing it for the first time in
it was
Hebrew
like
school.
girls don't poop, and I was like, what do people think they do? I was like so confused.
Like, where does the food go?
I had never heard it until I was like 23.
I remember I was in Hebrew school and this girl, Eden, was in my class and she went, I just saw the most embarrassing thing in the bathroom. And I was like, what? And she was like, I heard a girl next to me and she was just pooping. And I said, where else was she supposed to do it? Because where else was she supposed to do it? Insane. Do you guys have any idea of like where you might have developed that shame, even though you shouldn't have
Even
it
if it
at
is
all?
from your parents or not, like it's not. None of these things should cause shame.
No.
So like, where does it come from? Does anyone have any pitches?
The media.
Yeah. Very valid.
Do you remember saying like one specific thing that made you go like, oh, I should be ashamed of that, I guess?
We didn't really have media. I'm talking about, there's a huge age difference here. Media was like black and white television, and nobody talked about
Remember that episode of I Love Lucy where they're like, no period.
Yeah, exactly. I know for us, it's just all the way down the family
Family shame.
shame. Yeah, they were just, that's what they did. And women were there to please men, because they started telling me when I was about 2-3 years old.
Nope, that's too young for whatever you're about to say.
Yeah, for sure. They used to say, it's better to have a piece of man than no man at all.
Oh my God.
And and I was just, as a kid, I was like, okay, I don't want a piece of anything. I don't even understand what this means. It just looks bad.
Wild.
And then by the time I was about 6 or 7, I was like, so you just let this guy do whatever you want. You are just kind of a human mattress, because that's pretty much the terms you hear. You lay there for him.
Yeah.
And as long as he came back once in a while, that's what you were there for.
Yeah, that's a hard pass.
Yeah.
That's a big pass.
It's huge.
Do you know where your shame came from?
Catholic mom off the
Oh
books
boy,
in Italy.
my
maybe?
dad was a Catholic school escapee.
Yeah.
So
12 years, yeah.
Yeah,
It'll
my
do
dad
it to
too.
you, yeah.
Holy God. I literally.
Yeah.
But your shame, you feel like, comes from like
Media.
social media and TV and
Yeah, like, ooh, good morning, ladies. Like, we smell like fish and like everything like that. And I was taught like having bodily smells was bad, which I don't think you cannot have those. Like, you can like have hygiene. But
Every single person has a smell.
yeah,
I mean, you can cover it,
yeah.
but like they exist.
Well, then it's like the problem like douching and then messing up your pH.
that's not
Yeah,
good.
no, that's
And just
No,
everything.
I feel like the thing you were saying too earlier about like media is such a thing that affected me specifically. Like, just like memes, throwaway lines on TV that were jokes, like things you would hear kids say passing by the hall in like middle school that just like when they're written by whoever writes them or said by whoever says them, I don't think intend for it to stick in your brain like as much as it does, but it does. Like, especially if you're hearing it at like a younger age, you're very impressionable to like, oh, how should I feel about myself? Should I be ashamed of this? And if you're told like, oh yeah, the joke is that like women smell terrible, then it's like, you go like, oh, okay, that's the joke. So like, I have to make sure that I'm ashamed of that. And it's like, that's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad.
On top of that, it's not even just body stuff. We're taught to be ashamed of
Of
just
any type of a personality.
general personalities.
Oh my God.
Opinion.
Have you ever had a personality and had everyone else hate it? Here's a question. Do you guys have you found people in your life who you can talk to about things you used to be ashamed about in a way that's like freeing and open and good? And if so, who are they? And like, what do you talk about?
Yeah, like my husband. Yeah, we'll trade stories about bodily function, smells, growth.
And also,
You name it.
probably the whole IVF thing is
Totally.
with him.
Oh,
that's
Yeah,
for
he's the
sure.
one sticking all the
That's
shots,
really,
you
really
know,
sweet.
and rubbing it out and
You're
everything like
making
that.
this kid.
Totally. I'm gestating. You just sit there and gestate.
You're just
Yeah,
I love
we're
that.
good.
I love that. That's so cool.
And
That's
your
epic.
husband as well.
Oh, I think I made everybody like that because I was never embarrassed. So even my friends from 40, 50 years ago, they're like, you remember the time you were like, look at all this hair on my bush? They were like, why are you showing this? Because I need to like do something about it. Like I was always the open person because I always heard the term, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. And so I would just say what I think other people were thinking.
Yeah.
And then they felt free enough to engage. And so when I dated, which wasn't a lot, I did the same thing. I got right to it first day.
It's like a health thing too, because if you're not talking about certain things that are going on with your body because you're ashamed of it, there's such a chance that something bad medically could happen to you and you're not going to catch it.
Yeah. Totally.
So here's a question in terms of medical stuff. Was there ever a time, or multiple times, where you felt like you weren't heard or listened to by your doctor and you had to be your own advocate? Because I feel like that's a pretty common thing. Yeah.
Do you feel like with IVF that doctors have taken you seriously?
My doctor is male, and the only reason I went to him because I would prefer a woman, because she obviously knows how my body works, right? Outside of a textbook. So when you do it, you do a retrieval. So they poke your ovaries to get, everything out. So that's 21 times, just a needle poking at, but right? And then, it's like not invasive surgery, but I had my appendix taken out, and that was an easier recovery than the retrieval was. And his answer was to just take some ibuprofen.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, dude, you have no idea how this feels, but sure, I'll just, slap some Advil on it and call it a day.
So sweet.
Yeah.
So sweet.
Oh,
So
totally.
sweet.
That man was awesome. Yeah.
Have you had any bad experiences with doctors?
Back in the day, they definitely didn't care about women. If you were here, it's just whatever do you need, here, just take this and get out.
Yeah.
Over the last 25, 30 years, I haven't because I've chosen my doctors. They're all private practice.
Nice. That's really
And
important.
I am very vocal when I go to OBGYN. We're going to look at what you're looking at. I've got the mirror. We're saying, I've always done that.
That's great.
That's really smart.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah. I
smart.
have my mirror. My doctors knew, and they were, they're talking to me. I'm like, so tell me what you see. So every time I go back, I can see if there's something different or something
That's
that
so
we
smart.
didn't
They're not
catch.
gonna catch.
Or
Wow.
yeah, I've done that since I
That's
was
so
about
smart.
14.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
great.
so smart.
Yeah.
That is very smart.
To be just like
Yeah.
your own advocate.
Oh, I am my
Because
own
you have
advocate.
to be. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
It's really important that you are your own advocate to find a good doctor.
Yeah, absolutely.
My mom doesn't trust anyone, so rightfully so, and she wrote her own birth plan. She went in to give birth
neat.
to me and was like, I know what I'm doing.
Good for her.
And she
That's
had me in an hour.
Oh my god.
Wow. She did.
My mother and my bubby, my mom's mom, had me and my sister, and she had her daughter and her son in like wildly fast.
Wow.
Like
So
pushed
efficient.
it out.
That's never awesome. Get it out.
Yeah.
Can you
Apparently
imagine?
very smooth birth canals
Get it-
in
get
my
it out.
family. Do you feel like you've had any bad experiences with doctors?
Oh yeah, multiple. But I feel like being a young woman, anytime I say anything, it's automatically like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just like I have never really been able to speak up for myself, and like I always had to have my mom to be like, no, this is like an actual thing.
Yeah.
And like when it came to sex, my doctor would be like, you're not having it, right? Instead of, are you having sex? Do we want to talk about it? It's like, you're not having it, right?
The truth is, internalized shame can actually be detrimental to our health.
When we feel ashamed, embarrassed, or silenced, you're less likely to speak up and advocate for yourself, especially when it comes to your health. Black women are twice as likely to die from cervical cancer as white women, and Hispanic women are 30% more likely to die from cervical cancer, not because they are more susceptible to it, but because they are less likely to be taken seriously, heard, and diagnosed by doctors.
We need to be our own best advocates and know that our voices, our thoughts, and our feelings are valid and can be heard. Well, should we get into pyramid of shame? We have created a visual aid for us here today in class. So we will now bring out the pyramid of shame.
All right, class,
everybody,
this is the pyramid of shame.
Is the pyramid of shame.
we made this pyramid of all the things that people are ashamed of. And the whole point of the pyramid of shame is that we shouldn't be ashamed of any of these things. So this is a pyramid of incorrect shame.
So we're gonna get this out of our system.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna never feel it again.
Things we're taught to be ashamed of, but we shouldn't be.
So our
Let's
first
start really niche.
bit of niche female shame.
Guess who wrote this one?
Liking reality TV.
Not anymore. Now we're not ashamed of that. All right, what's next? Wearing shorts. What? Yeah, people are ashamed of wearing shorts if they're too short, if they're not short enough. I'm gonna also do this.
Dresses. True.
Anything.
What's something you wear that people make you feel bad about?
Nothing.
Nothing anything.
What's something you wear that people make you feel bad about?
Low-cut shirts.
What's something you wear that people make you feel bad about?
Colors.
Oh, not anymore.
Not anymore.
We're done with it.
We're done with it.
All right,
Next on our pyramid. Not smiling at strangers.
Boo.
Let me see everybody's smile.
Now let's everybody stop smiling.
Don't ever let somebody tell you to smile. No, that was a trick question. You should have said, "I hate you."
You smile.
No.
See? Yeah, not smiling at strangers, not being polite to strangers who are being weird, not being polite to men who want to follow you to your car at night. Next up on the list, get it. Needing a tampon. A thing that I am no longer ashamed of.
No, me neither.
It's always a thing that people are like, oh, does anyone have a tampon? But no, not anymore.
I will ask a stranger for a tampon. I will
Absolutely.
ask the size I want. I don't fucking care.
I use a tampon and I still slip it up my sleeve so that no one in the office, which is 99% women, see
Not
it.
anymore.
I know.
Not anymore. I want you to parade through the office, holding it up and saying, "Ha ha!" Do you never feel any shame about tampons?
No, I used to wear, because I created a whole line when I was I guess teenager, 20 years old. I made tampon the OBs when they came out, the earrings.
Stop.
So if I needed one, I kept the wrapper on it and I put like ribbons on it.
Oh my God.
Everything.
This is so you can make more.
I said OBs.
All right, next up. Oh, this is a big one. Showing what your actual face looks like. Here's a fun fact. If you wear no makeup, people will ask you if you're sick
or tired.
If you wear natural makeup, people will say, I love you with no makeup right now. And if you wear the same exact makeup with red lipstick, people will say,
Too much
you should not wear
makeup."
makeup. And that is crazy.
Next on our pyramid.
Oh,
Here we go.
having the same bodily functions as men. Haven't talked about this one today.
Unacceptable. How dare you? Next on the pyramid of shame, we have not having enough sex.
That's a crazy one, huh?
How dare you?
Yeah, I definitely feel like that's a new one. Okay, what's next?
Now, we just had not having enough sex, and now we have having any sex.
Having any sex.
Any.
What a shameful thing.
What a shameful thing. How
Horrible.
dare you have it? And you like it?
And you
no.
love it. You're not allowed. You're supposed to be the mattress thing.
the
we were talking
mattress.
about earlier.
Mattress.
Okay.
And finally, on the very bottom, the most common thing.
Just
having one.
vagina.
Just having one. All the
wait,
things
owning
that come
it.
with it.
Any of you guys have a vagina?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Have you ever felt like, oh no, I'm not supposed to?
Always.
Yeah.
Totally not
Oh,
supposed
yeah.
to.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this because this is the pyramid
Yeah.
of shame.
Yeah.
And now we're done
Yeah.
with shame.
Yeah.
There's no more shame here. Not in this classroom.
Not in this class.
Not in this classroom.
Do you guys have any other things that you feel should be added to the pyramid of shame?
Yeah, anything else you want me to?
Yes,
Yeah.
because I have been a voluntary spokesperson and fundraiser for cancer and breast cancer since 1976.
Oh my God.
And
Go
women
Reign.
are shamed about their breasts when they told me, this is just in the last 10 years, because now I'm a 10-year survivor. They
Oh my
say,
God.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations. the right
Thank
thing to say? I don't know.
you.
I don't want to be weird.
No,
That's
it's not
awesome.
weird.
That's
it's,
epic.
I remember when they used to tell women, "Oh, you have cancer. We're just going to cut them off." And I'm like, "Cut what off?" And they're like, "Cut those off." They would say to women. And now it's like, "You're a man." They say out of every 5 relationships, 3 of the guys leave because they don't want to be with a man after she has breast cancer. And I'm tired of people shaming women
With
Yes.
with mastectomies or double mastectomies, and men also get breast cancer.
Right?
Yeah.
Tired of it. This is our health. This is our life.
Boobs aren't femininity.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I am not my
Still
breasts.
have
No.
a vagina.
Right.
That is
Right.
Hello.
I'm
great.
not my
Yeah, that's
breasts.
that's like a trophy for getting over it.
Did you
You're
spell
like,
that
Right.
correctly?
Did I?
I was
Did you
just
spell that correctly?
No, but I forgive her. Because,
Yes.
And then they
Yeah.
also shame you for having a hysterectomy, but
Right.
I had
Oh
it so
my
it wouldn't
God.
go into, my fallopian tubes. Oh, they
Yeah.
call your lady parts. And I said, it's not called a hysterectomy because I didn't do it for him. It's
No.
called a
Hysterectomy.
hysterectomy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
I just
Yeah.
read something the other day that after you have birth vaginally, there's some doctors that will add another stitch in there, and supposedly it's called a husband stitch.
Without
Yes.
asking you.
Yeah.
Without,
Without
asking
asking
you.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you know how
Yes.
painful? Talk about UTIs.
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
about inserting a tampon,
Yeah.
having sex with your partner.
It's not enjoyable
again.
for you, but at least he's
I
happy.
actually
Right.
can't imagine a bigger pass from me.
And just so you know, when I was younger, of course, my generation, you had to get that because they would tell women, now, if you don't do this, this is why your husband will cheat.
Oh my.
Now,
The doctor would say that?
yeah, that was
Are you
the era we
kidding?
lived in.
That's so bad.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we're talking about it because you know what?
Right?
That's the only way
I'm
to get
sorry
through
that
it is to be
happened.
like, hey, this is bad, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it is. Here's a question, guys. What's something that you used to be ashamed of or that people used to think of as shameful that you're glad has changed since you were a kid? And what would you like the next generation to be taught about shame? Hell yeah.
Women being able to have orgasms
Yeah.
when they're having sex with their partner.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was
You
a-
get a
And
rose.
it's so important.
Answer.
Thank you.
Beautiful answer.
That was beautiful.
And I hope for the next generation to feel like this is okay and this is what they want as well. So it's important for them just as it is for the other person involved, whether it's male or female.
Love that. I love that. That's beautiful. Do you have something?
Absolutely.
I love that.
Women advocating for their own health and not being embarrassed by it. And if they see something they don't like and the doctor says, it's okay, get yourself another doctor.
Yes.
Yes.
That deserves
Yes.
a rose.
Yes.
Beautiful answer. And for some more earrings. Do you have anything?
And you're,
Yeah.
You're
a
the
young
youngest.
person.
Yeah.
So
It might not be a ton different from when you were younger.
but what do you think
No.
could be improved?
Oh, I think talking more about like with your friends, so kind of similar, but like with your friends about things like STIs and like growing up and just knowing that you have body functions and stuff like that. Like you poop, you're gonna have this, and like you make it an STI, but it's not gonna be the end of the world most likely. Like
Yeah.
there are ways to be proactive and just like having a good conversation constantly with like your
Absolutely.
friends and loved ones.
I feel like you got a rose.
Similar.
I love
And you get earrings.
Yeah. Thank you guys all so much for coming. You guys are
absolutely lovely.
amazing. Thank you all for leaving your shame at the door.
I don't think any of you have the right to be ashamed
You
of
are
anything
three
about yourselves.
beautiful, cool, smart, awesome people, and you should only be proud of yourself. Same with everyone watching this. Thank you so much for watching.
Never feel shame about your body.
Get rid of it. And there's so many other bad things in the world. Stop with the shame.
And we will see you next time.
Bye. Thank you guys
Bye.
so much.